Carrying and treating water on the Appalachian Trail, or out in the wilderness if you want to use that term. I combine the two words, carrying and treating, on purpose. For me, it starts with two questions. How much water am I going to carry? And how often will I need to refill? The two questions are not mutually exclusive. If trail conditions do not allow me to refill as often as I would like, then the first question might have a different answer than I would have wanted. I recently changed how I carry water. For years, I hiked with an internal hydration bladder. There were some drawbacks, which I finally acknowledged. I wasn't drinking enough during the day. I don't know if that was subconscious. I was worried about it running out and I couldn't tell how much was in there. And it was never easy for me to refill the water. So you got an internal hydration bladder inside your backpack here, and you've got to pull stuff out of the backpack to refill it and then put it back in the backpack. And it carried a lot of water, so the other thing was the added weight. Now I hike with 5 containers. Yes, you heard that correct. 5 containers. We'll discuss these shortly. How many of these are filled and how often I gather water, well, that depends upon the available water sources where I am going. And that's why the two questions, how much water do I actually carry and how often do I refill, are not mutually exclusive. And how do I know if there are plenty of water sources out there? Planning. And this is where I will mention a video on my channel called How to Plan and Execute an Appalachian Trail Section Hike. So check that out when you get some time. I want to mention another reason I changed from carrying an internal hydration bladder. A trail friend of mine, Snickers, was recommending it to me. Why do I mention this? Well, I have a lot more experience hiking than Snickers does. I think she would tell you that if she was here. I have hundreds more miles than she does out on the trail and years more experience, yet I listen to her. And my lesson for hikers out there is everyone has good ideas, no matter how new or how experienced you are to the hiking community. So I encourage you to stop and listen to what other people have to say. Snickers had developed this system early in her hiking career, and then I was watching and she kind of mentioned it to me and decided it was a good idea. So I know of 3 primary methods to treat water. There's purification tabs, there's boiling, and then there's filtration. 3 methods within filtration: gravity, inline, and quick/active. Until the start of the 2020 hiking season, I was primarily using purification tabs. I did not mind the metallic taste. I decided to switch to filtration well because I wanted to try it. And the tabs require you to wait 30 minutes. So here's the purification tabs right here. You follow the instructions, you put a certain amount of tabs in for a certain amount of water, you shake it up and you wait 30 minutes, as I just said. I didn't really like that, so we went to my system, which I'm going to discuss here shortly. Boiling water. I do this on every hike. But not for drinking, though you can boil water for drinking, and some people have done that. I haven't been in that scenario yet. But I boil water for, cooking my to rehydrate my meals, for my dehydrated meals. I do it for tea in the evening. Got to have that comfort tea, at least I do. I do it for my coffee in the morning, number one important thing in the morning, and for oatmeal in the morning. I like to have hot oatmeal. I showed you how I boil water on a segment I did on making coffee via the pour over method, which is again right here on my channel. All right, filtration. So I'm going to talk about my system now, which I term active/quick. I think I said quick/active in the wording. And then I'll discuss gravity and inline. I now use the Sawyer Squeeze system. So you're seeing that here. You can see the badge right here. My system is one of being organized. I have 2 bottles which only get filled with clean water. And these are these 2 bottles right here. I have my Smart Water bottle, which I've been using for a couple of months. Reduce, reuse, recycle, so I'm reusing this. And then I have this bottle I bought in 2015 made by Camelback, still a great bottle. I've got the obligatory stickers on it. So these are my 2 clean water bottles that I never put dirty water in. Only filtered water goes into those 2 bottles. I have a large water bottle here, which I'll discuss in a little bit more. And I have the large mouth here for scooping out water, hard to get water out of a slow running source. And then my 4th and 5th containers, if you will, is my Sawyer Squeeze system right here. Some hikers will label their water containers, you know, clean and then dirty. So far, I haven't had a mistake where I feel compelled to do that. For me, it's pretty obvious, to me at least, that these 2 are my clean water bottles. I do not often have to fill all 5 of these when I'm out hiking. There are 2 scenarios where I have done this. One is I'm going to dry camp. That means there's no water source at the camp, usually on a peak. Or there have been times when there's other camps where I looked on the map and used my Gut Hook app, which I've talked about in numerous videos, where it didn't show a water source, so we filled up before we got to the campsite. It's not necessarily always on a peak where you have to dry camp. So the other scenario where I've had to carry a lot of water is the water sources aren't always really close to the campsite. So sometimes you got to hike up to a 1/4 mile away, and I don't want to make that trip multiple times. So I'll carry all 5 of these with me to the water source, make sure I get everything filled up, and then I'm good to go for the evening. Now, I've never hiked out west. I'm going to do that sometime soon. I've watched some videos, read a lot about that, and out west, you have to hike with more water. So probably hiking with just these 2 filled, like I do out here on the East Coast on the Appalachian Trail. I only fill these 2. Out west, probably not good enough from what I've read. I haven't experienced that yet. But I will say this. We do get droughts out here on the East Coast. I did a hike in Georgia in September of 2019, and it was really dry. And I was hiking with a bit more water for that hike. There was normally reliable water sources that were completely dried up. So again, do your planning, know the available water that you're going to be hiking on your route. In order to treat the water, you first have to gather the water. The Sawyer bags, and we're going to show you a little bit more of how these work here in just a second. You notice the top here is not exactly what you would call very wide. It can make gathering water a little bit difficult. So enter in the Nalgene water bottle. As I mentioned a few seconds ago, it's got the wide mouth, so I can get this down low into a really shallow or slow moving water source and fill this up with water. And then what I can do with this is, and I've done this recently on a hike, I can then use this to fill up each one of these. So there are times when these openings on the Sawyer bags, if you will, are fine. Numerous water sources out on the Appalachian Trail are piped springs. So you can just hold this right under the pipe spring and the water will drip right into it, no problem. But again, a lot of times I end up using that Nalgene water bottle to collect my water. For the Sawyer Squeeze, I'm calling this system quick/active. Again, that's my term. It works as the name kind of states. You remove this top tab here, you screw on the filter here, and then you squeeze it into your water bottle and you've got clean filtered water there. For the gravity system, I did use this for a while. I don't use it anymore. But I have a LifeStraw gravity water system. So here's the bag, and it's great for collecting water. You can go like this, put it low into a stream, and I've actually laid this down into a stream to collect water. Close the bag up, and then you can see the tubing right down here, and then you can see the filter. It's kind of slow, but most gravity filter systems, I suppose, are kind of slow. And I would just hang this from a tree and then kind of position this over my water bottle, and then I could walk away while it filled up the water bottle. So why did I stop using this? Well, this folds up like so, and then it clips back around here. And I found this wasn't the best system at times when I had to put this back into my pack in that scenario where I'm dry camping and I've got to put a lot of water in my pack, and it just wasn't the most secure thing. And so I decided to go with the system that we're talking about right now. There are other gravity systems. My friend Andy has one where he has 2 bags. So you still have the tube coming out of what he calls the dirty bag. Here's the tube and the filter, and the tube continues down to the clean bag. So the advantage of using his is you can hang it, like I said, and he can just walk away until one bag drains into the other bag, and he doesn't have to come back and check on it. And he seems to really like that system. To find out about those other gravity systems, just either go to an outfitter like REI or do some searching on your own. There's a lot out there. I could spend an hour in this video talking about all the other water filtration systems. You've probably heard of Life Straw if you're a hiker, and I will demonstrate it for you. You just take the straw, and you can see it dripping because I used it a second ago. Stick it in the water, and there you go. I'm just going to leave that in there because it's causing a little bit of a mess here. So that's Life Straw. For an inline system, again, we'll pull out my internal bladder system. And this thing is old because I used to be in the Marine Corps, and that's how I acquired this. But it worked really great. For inline, when I purchased this Sawyer water system, it came with some parts and instructions to do inline. And what you would do is basically, I would probably replace this tube, but then the tube would come into here with a fitting and then come out of here, and then you could just suck on this straight inline. The other way, and I've seen hikers do the following. I've never seen anybody do this, where they have an inline filter from their internal water bladder, but I have seen hikers do the following. And I'm thinking about trying this just because it's kind of neat. You got your water bottle here. Most of them use a smart water bottle because they're pretty durable. Again, I've been using this for 2 months. Put the filter on right here. Now, it would require me to put dirty water in here, but that's okay in this system. And then you just squeeze and drink. So, inline water filtration. And that's my quick overview of carrying water and water filtration systems, or treating water out there on the Appalachian Trail, and really any trail in the United States. Though, as I said, out west, your procedures and the amount of water you carry is probably going to change a little bit from what I'm talking about today. Before I sum this up, I want to mention Project Blaze real quick. Didn't spend a lot of time on it on this video. I am spending a lot of time on Project Blaze and other videos, and it's something that's important to me. Project Blaze, if this is the first video you've ever watched on my channel, is hiking to raise awareness for a cause. And the cause that I'm supporting this year, or I should say causes, though I think they're kind of related: domestic violence awareness, sexual assault awareness, and child abuse awareness, and supporting those victims and those organizations by raising money. That's Project Blaze. If you go look down in the description, you'll see some links to these organizations I'm supporting. There's the Joyful Heart Foundation, founded by Mariska Hargitay, Law and Order Special Victims Unit. I don't watch TV very often, but I know that's a very popular show, and I have seen a few of those episodes. There's also, I support Sister Care, which is local to South Carolina, and they support domestic violence victims. And if you are not from South Carolina, I know you can find an organization local to your state to support that. It's not about me raising money directly through Project Blaze. That's what I'm trying to do. But if I raise money for other domestic violence support organizations in other states, I think that's great. Then there's the child abuse victims I mentioned. And the organization I'm supporting through Project Blaze is Bikers Against Child Abuse. Short is BACA. When you click on those, there's more than one link for BACA in my description. You can go to the international organization and then choose from there. You can drill down to national, and you can drill down to state. I also have a direct link for the South Carolina chapter of BACA, which you can donate to. So that's Project Blaze. I hope you consider domestic violence, sexual assault, and child abuse an important issue in the United States, in the world really, as I do, and I hope you'll consider supporting. So I hope you learned something today about carrying and treating water out in the Appalachian Trail or out in the wilderness. If you found this video informative, go ahead and hit that like button and consider subscribing to my channel. What I want to tell everybody is thank you for watching. Happy hiking out there. And don't forget those leave no trace principles. That's really important that we preserve the environment that we're out interacting with. And by all means, be safe out there and have fun.